Holy smoly, that is not what I expected. And I'm just like, this is how you make one assembler. It's clean, it's nice, it's beautiful. Burninating in the countryside and burninating in the peasants. And leave those thatch roof cottages alone, though. They're pretty nice. All right, we're here on Vulcanus, our first full day of activity here, as we don't really have to worry too much about Novice. Don't have to worry about too much about the Orbiter and everything going on up top. We're just going to keep, ammo pumping and otherwise focus on what's going on down there. So welcome back, Automation Nation. Let's make some real things happen. I don't want that. I don't think I need it, but yeah, anything else we need to do real quick just to make sure that we're not too distracted? We could probably just lay down a few extra turrets. It's not like we're like chewing through ammunition or anything, and it is nice to not like have a backup plan in case there's things dropping down, in case we're just like running out of ammunition left and right. The backup plan is nice. That being said, I'm also noticing that we do have a bit of a slowdown here on magazine production. We are having these chunks get through the line thanks to this issue right here. Since I believe the top side gets prioritized, it's already on the conveyor belt. This little guy doesn't have any way of getting rid of this stuff other than, throwing it into outer space, which isn't always the most practical option. So what can we do? We don't necessarily want to waste the resources, but more importantly, we do not want to have this stuff sitting here and, wasting this effort. So we're not seeing the line move at all because the oxidizers are full, which means the iron ore isn't really being utilized here. We could probably just go ahead and shut this down for right now and figure out an alternative. In the meantime, we also could try to maybe put this into the hub, and that way it would go out onto this line, which is lower prioritization, or at least a different line. Might help for at least a little bit. So we'll check. Right now, seems like it's pretty clear what's up. Yeah, I'm trying to think. There's two ways I can do it. I can do it through inserters, or I can do it. I think that's the cleanest way to do it, is just to get it off the line and not have to set up like circuits and random stuff just to make sure that it doesn't get jammed again. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take care of this and try to get it over here, which can then be underground belted through to here. So that's basically where we're at. We're just trying to get this line clear, make sure that these guys are always producing iron plates, and that will always be producing firearms. Well, nearly anyways. That's how we keep our flow, and this should be good overall. Certainly a bit of a chore, but it's gonna be worth it when we can actually utilize this to go back and forth and feel confident in it. So we got to make sure that we're doing our best here. Eventually we'll actually be able to supply it from the ground and all that. But for now, we're just keeping things going this way and that. This guy can use another refill, and then over here, these guys don't really do anything, haven't been shooting anything, which is fine, I guess. No real concerns there. So everything's been fine from my perspective. We just need to maybe clear these chunks out a little bit, just to make sure that we are still collecting and that we're not getting all clogged up. Worst case scenario, the entire hub gets full of metallic chunks, and then we obviously have to have another solution, but at least for right now, the line's clear. The ammunition is full. We can get back to it. So welcome back to Vulcanus, Automation Nation. We are here to make some things happen. Down on the surface, we have gotten our first foundry, and we're going to continue to work on some more. Let's go ahead and grab some of this tungsten carbide. I have some here as well. We're going to continue to build on the foundry production. But we do need a few ingredients here. We're going to need some electronic circuits. We're going to need some refined concrete. And for that, we need a little bit of stone brick in here, a little bit of iron stick in here. Alrighty. So, yeah, we'll keep that flow going as best we can manage. But, yeah, we got one foundry here. And we're getting a better understanding of what the recipes are related to that, what we can do with them. We can make copper plates, we can make iron plates, we can make steel. Those are the kind of the essentials. But, you know, there's also some more direct routes of making some very interesting recipes. So we'll have to try out a few things, I think. But yeah, for right now, more iron stick action, more copper into the electronic circuits, also very important. And that's well underway, which is good. Alrighty. So, next things next. Oh, if I can just do one more carryover here of the refined concrete, which is not something I can really make by hand. It needs the water. But yeah, we can go ahead and then make one more foundry and call that good for the moment. Though, of course, we'll always want to continue to build on that where we can. Maybe take half that back. Also do have the option of, I was thinking about adding some like the steam engines, not the boilers, but since we are making steam directly from acid neutralization, you can actually, per second, if you look at it, it's like 2,000 steam every second. These consume only 30, so yeah, you could probably keep a lot of those generators going. It's not the long-term plan, of course, for the planet surface, but you know, if you just need a temporary solution, that might work for some power. And we're going to be eating a lot of power. One thing I'm going to be doing is relocating. I do think it's cool that we have this set up here, but personally would rather have like a more expanded line going in a different area. So I got this whole thing of stone, got this calcite, which I'll probably need to grab more of shortly. Is there another like thing with calcite in it somewhere? 45 here. I feel like I had some, but I'm not too sure. Not the end of the world. Tungsten ore. Okay. So yeah, we're here. We are on the borders of these creatures, these big worms, and they seem to be patrolling these territories to some extent. So I don't know if there's a proximity aggro of sorts, but I do want to try to steer clear of them where I can. That being said, I do feel like this might be a relatively safe zone if we're not blatantly disrespecting their boundaries. So this is probably too close. At the very least, it doesn't give us space to build on stuff next to it. So let's go ahead and do this and maybe move it up a bit. We'll see what we end up doing with it. I'm most likely gonna have to move this stuff as well, but yeah, the the offshore pump, we can bring in some lava. We're gonna need to split it either way, so it could start on the left and then go from there. Still out of range. Good. All right, so let's go ahead and underground pipe it here. And that should give us plenty to pipette, as we most likely want this to be 1, 2, 3 apart. And everything else can just connect linearly. Got the lava flow going. We're going to make 2 sides. One is molten copper from lava. One is molten iron from lava. Oh, there's actually molten iron as well. That's interesting. We're going to focus on this for right now. Of course, we do probably want to respect our electric grid a little bit. Might be nicer to just have that go in between, I think. And so we can probably just move everything to the right one here. And the robots will take care of it. So the idea here is in the center, we can be distributing the stone and taking care of that byproduct. And then I guess I'm not going to probably have copper for a bit. We'll see what we end up needing to do with it. Heck, I think we're actually making a lot here. If we make, you know, 250 molten iron. That's 25 plates every 16 seconds. I guess we could use a little bit more than that. I actually was doing some math earlier. If we want to go ahead and just take a look at the charts here. So I could probably in the meantime be like crafting a few items. How about this? We'll get just the basics started with this, and then we can go from there. So molten, and then we can talk about like the numbers. Molten iron from lava is going to be lava here. Of course, now I'm offset, right? So we'll see if that still works. It hopefully does. Yeah, then that means we can go ahead and pull that resource, make the good stuff, and I imagine that is actually a challenge right there, just with these specific entities in this specific position. It's kind of annoying. Move it over one is always my solution. It seems like that might be necessary here. So do that. And one more of these. Sorry, guys. That'll at least make sure that we can avoid entanglement from that side of things. Because if we are pulling in, we want to be able to then, yeah, do that. Basically, yeah, either the inserters can be an obstruction for the pipes, or the substation, but not both, is the issue. Bottom line. So we got that. We got this one going down. Not that I need that much of it right now, but, you know, we'll have the ability to expand on it, which is good. And then I think we'll need, yeah, the storage tanks here. We'll see how much we actually need from this, but bam, bam, bam. And then, of course, we need the magic ingredient, the calcite, which makes all this possible. It's basically core to, I think, just about every recipe in some way, shape, or form on Vulcanus. It's definitely a limiter for the raw materials. But luckily, it doesn't take that much, and we have a lot to work with, so that's all really good. So we'll be filling these up pretty quickly, but you'll notice that, of course, the byproduct of stone is a problem. Well, they do tell you one thing in the tips and tricks on Vulcanus. They say, well, the lava processing, it is possible to remove waste items by moving them directly into lava tiles. So that's actually going to be our new approach. We'll just kind of toss it into the abyss, and you know, we'll need some of this to stick around, but not all of it, certainly. And yeah, I think that will be very helpful for that side of things. If we do want to make sure that there is some degree of buffering to make sure that we don't get rid of stone that we actually need, what we can do is then put down a chest here and connect it to here, and then have it read the contents. So we want, yeah, read contents is on by default, but now we're going to enable it based on saying, like, if the stone reading is greater than, I'll only enable it if it's, oh yeah, greater than 10,000. Because we have, what, 32 slots. So it should be, like, able to handle 1,600. So maybe 10, it's actually just 1,000, my bad. Off by a magnitude of 1, but there we go. That'll fill up. Yeah, that looks right. Alrighty, so basically we'll always have some stone to work with, and heck, if we ever do need it to go somewhere, we can always, like, set up a splitter priority to the right, and then, yeah, we'll see what we need to do with it. For example, we could be processing it into stone bricks and go from there. And I once I get my... Oh, I do have an electric furnace. I can just set that up right now. Boom. Boom. And we'll see actually what we end up doing with that, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. Alrighty. So we got this set up here. What are we doing with the actual stuff? Well, we have a bit more space to work with here. We're going to be bringing it down to the south and then routing it into some kind of... I'm not sure. There's not that much space if you don't count the cliff areas. So I'm trying to think like maybe... And of course the coal. We don't want to like cover that all up. Not that we're burning that much coal. Maybe I just sit on the coal right now and don't worry about it. Because the space is kind of limited and it would geometrically like really obstruct us. So don't want that. But we also have to worry about power. So what we're going to do is just set up a couple foundries real quick to start building off of that. And then see what we can do from there. We could use this space over here. But like I said, we're pretty close to the line. It does kind of fill up again. Yeah, we'll just do it here. It'll work. So I'll go ahead and do this, and in theory do it on the other side as well, but for right now, molten iron goes in. Yeah, I guess we can do a similar setup where we have it right here. If the power spacing prevails, which it looks like it will, we can do something similar on the other side. And this stuff builds it really fast. The efficiency is great. Crafting speed of 4, just chunking through it, no problem at all. So we're going to go ahead and just put this in a chest for now, but eventually it will be going onto a belt, which will be great. Could be building those boilers we were talking about. Could be hopefully doing something with the other key materials. We'll figure it out. Right now we need this stuff. Good. We'll need some steel soon as well. There's some steel. There's your concrete. And we're making more foundries. So that'll be great. There's some calcite here. Yeah, don't need that much for this acid neutral or coal liquefaction process because we're just doing lubricant right now. But once we get into like plastics and stuff, we'll need a lot. Once we get this one done, that'll help a lot. And what do we need for the next one? We need a little bit of this, a little bit of steel, which in theory we could make over here as well. If I just put this in, maybe that'll help. Ooh, I like these copper cables. Definitely take advantage of those. And I'll take this steel out so I can just, repurpose it where needed. I need 2 more. 1, 2. Cool. So we'll make 1 more foundry, and then we'll talk the numbers, the plan, a little bit as we continue onward. Probably need to make a quick little calcite run anyways. So while that's crafting, we'll grab some good ingredients right here. Yeah, the big thing is we need to get fast transport belts automated and fast. That is going to be a core thing for continuing onward. Just give me as much as I can hold. That's going to be important. And luckily we don't have to do that trip too frequently, but we do want to belt it soon. So, dodging cliffs. Our old enemy, the cliffs, will not be a problem that much longer if we can get that tech up and running for cliff explosives. But in the meantime, yeah. I guess we do need iron for the accumulators. It's kind of a key issue right now as well. But I don't really have any extras on hand, so we might just have to deal with that. Yeah, I think that's all we can really do. Grab this foundry and start getting the materials out. 2 foundries. I could do some more iron, but since we are lacking, what we can do instead is like space it out. If I turn off my RoboPort, 1, 2, 3, 4, and just do steel right here. I think that makes more sense. And then over here on the opposite side, we can do copper. And I'm fine with that. Missed it by one for some reason. There we go. That should do it. And we're making molten copper. Boom. And then down here, if I can walk straight, even halfway straight, is gonna be steel. Cool. So we got that going. As always, we put in a box. We put in a box. And we have materials coming in. So since we have those materials coming in... Oh, I can do the calcite run again. Wait, go ahead and take care of that. Wait, these don't need the calcite. It's up here that needs the calcite. My bad. You know, dude, I don't like me here being here as much as you do. Let's just chill out. Okay? Hopefully he doesn't get even more mad that I've encroached upon the territory. But yeah, let's go ahead and fill these machines up. And that'll hopefully help things out. Why is the stone not moving? Because you're in the wrong way. And the power is really bad. And everything's bad. Okay. So, well, a few things we can do. Like I said, temporary solution. I go ahead and pull a ton of iron. A little bit of steel. A little bit of copper. And I start just pumping out some steam engines. That could help. But I really do need to, like I said, automate a few key pieces here. So what I'm going to do... should be going out to a conveyor belt. Let's say right here. Oh, God. All right. Play it cool. They only sense the vibrations. Just stand still and stop spinning all your gears and conveyor belts constantly. Okay, so proximity seems to be okay right now. This seems to be the movement pattern. I don't know if it's always the same movement pattern or not, but I'm curious what would trigger it. If I'm standing in his territory, if I'm shooting in his territory, if I'm just placing a building in his territory, any of it theoretically could send him running, is probably the wrong word, but oh God, he's so close. Dude, he's like, I mean, look at this. This is like, yeesh. Don't like that. All right. All right. There's a line in the sand, and it is drawn, and he seems cool with it, at least for now. So we'll work around it. Oh, I guess the stuff was actually building the whole time, which is kind of nice. But yes, I would like to build... I'll have a conveyor here in the future. So let's say we did it here for gears. And then what is it, like a transport belt? Okay, it just needs iron plates. So this would actually feed into here. Oh God, just chill, dude, chill. We're all worms here somehow. I don't think that makes any sense. So then both of these can feed into that, right? Because it goes like this, and then you pick one of these, and you put it in the box. Cool, cool. So as it makes this, obviously electricity is not in the best state, but as it makes it, we can kind of get into that. And then for copper, the main thing you need to do right now is just cable it up. Okay, we have plenty of space to the west, so let's go ahead and say if we were placing it here onto a belt, then we could, in theory, do this, do this, do this, and for the moment, put it in a box. Though, of course, long-term plan is make some green circuits and stuff. And we'll have to route that down for that. Alrighty. We got some basics. We're happy with some basics. It's going to take a long time for a lot of this stuff to pan out. But let's get the power online before we slow things down a little bit. Alright, 10 of these should just be able to do something like this, this, and a fifth one, and then I need a few pipes. Just a few pipes. There we go. Steam directly into power. Cool. Oh, we have 10 more. That was just a stack. Great. Just do this for now. Continue to build off of previous setup. And this guy will have to... Well, I don't imagine this will work. Nope. We need that. We don't need it there necessarily. We can put it here. Cool. All right. All this stuff is running. That will help our power grid a little bit stabilize. Keep this stuff running. Day and night. There's still no pollution concerns. That's nice. And then, yeah, it just ends up taking a bit more of this calcite, this sulfuric acid, but not that much, to be fair. Alrighty. Need to keep building these foundries. Very important to continue to produce on that side of things. Still lacking a bit on circuits and also on the concrete. Plenty of 40 is great. And how much does it actually need? 30? That might take a little bit. So what we want to be doing is also making accumulators, solar panels. Again, all this isn't as easy as we like it to be, but accumulators I don't think are too bad. Let's see. Iron plates and batteries. So those are made in an assembling machine, I assume. We can go ahead and place one right here. And then, yeah, we're going to be keeping iron in this chest anyways. So that should allow us to do this. And we'll try to put in a red chest here. We're going to need to expand on our RoboPort action as much as we have for advanced circuits. Once we run out of advanced circuits, we're toast on that. But, you know, right now I think it is probably the best thing we can do. We actually need a few for these as well, which is a bit annoying, but here we are. Okay. There we go. One more of those. And just keep it rolling. The neighbors are so loud. It's so frustrating. Oh god, this is another one. Was this a big one? Oh no, still a small demolisher. Same idea. I guess different angle makes it feel very different. Ugly little thing too. But beauty is in the eye of the demolisher, which it might be blind. We'll see. But right now we have guns in space. Has somebody actually thought about the physics of shooting a firearm in space? I mean, I'm sure they have. I believe I've even seen it in some movies, but like, I don't know. I'm sure there's something weird about how that actually operates in terms of, you know, no friction, no gravity. Maybe it's better in space. Maybe that's the best weapon. Science fiction got it wrong. Either way, we're here, we're doing it. And we're making good progress, I'd say, overall. Because this guy most likely needs a bit more. There should be one more guy over here, yep. I'm hoping that we've covered them all, but just double checking. Cool. I'm good with this. Back to the action. Okay. He's making the accumulators. That's good news. Putting it in where it belongs. We're also going to be trying to make a few more of these roboports when we do have the steel and iron prerequisites. I'm probably just want to keep things moving down here. Make one of these. And then make another iron gear wheel maker just for the chest, just for speeding up the progress on these little bits and bobs. That's some good steel. It's like half the time this one's just feeding into a chest, which I think is still fine. And then, yeah, we're getting lots of copper cable. Great. Too much of that, though. Alrighty. Now, the biggest thing, though, is how we're doing transport belts. 37 is not great, I will say. We were hoping for a little bit more than that, but we can always craft our own through what we've achieved. Is this guy not outputting? We'll fix that. And, I mean, we're fine on these, right? These will be our indicators of, like, how much we're actually actively producing. Looks like we're out of calcite. And because that's not, like, fed in properly, we'll have to set up a little way of doing that. Now, I'm guessing red inserters is the easiest solution here. You can also do the underground pipes. Okay, and that would allow us to then, yeah, put up a little setup here. And most likely, before we can feed it across the universe, I don't know exactly where it's going to be coming in from. If it's just going to have to, like, go all the way around and then all the way up, that's a possibility. We just got to steer clear of the border there. For right now, we'll just assume that it will be going through that splitter and reaching a point of conclusion here. So it would be here, and then in theory over here. And then all you do for right now is, that's right, put it in a box. The peak of civilization, put it in a box. Okay. Make the bigger boxes now, if we feel really generous. But yeah, just continue to build on this. We are going to be starting to get into solar again. And at least for the moment, we can kind of consider ourselves good. If we wanted a little bit more foundry, we'd probably need a little bit more steel. But we're good on copper, which is great. Maybe even drop a few of these off. Gonna make some circuits. Nice and easy. 60 of those would be great to continue to build on what we have here. And we do need the purple stuff too. Tungsten carbide, 50 for each of these. So we'll go ahead and get some refined concrete. Where's the iron sticks? There we go. Guess I can probably just set up a feed of iron stick go in. Cool, 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 cool. Oh. Yeah, that's gonna be an issue. There is a recipe for Foundries to do concrete, but I do not remember what goes into it. And we'll have to figure that out. Taking some lubricant. Yeah, making those, and purple stuff. Go broom. Is this all our purple stuff? Oof. Okay, I think that I need to hold on to some of this for a bit, which means we cannot make any more foundries for the moment. And so I guess concrete isn't that big of a priority. But yeah, we do have the ability to make it, but based on what? Concrete from molten iron and stone brick. Well, there's that stone brick we had earlier. Can then, I guess, go into the foundry here. Definitely is kind of a one-off structure, doesn't need to be part of the chain, but it needs water as well. Okay. I don't have a great plan for getting water, I'll say that. Either the water has to come over, the sulfuric acid needs to come over, or the molten iron just needs to go across. Yeah, no matter what, these ingredients aren't in the same place that they want to be. But like I said, who needs concrete when you already have all the foundries you're able to make because you don't have any tungsten? So what are we gonna do? We're gonna make some belts. Make the belts. Probably some underground belts and such as well. But a big thing is these iron gear wheels will speed the whole process up. So let's go ahead and do that a bit. Boom, boom, boom. What can we do? We need to maybe relocate things. At the very least, we can kind of form a bit of a mini bus right now and start building off of that. So go ahead and send this all down. I would say right around here makes sense to me. Always one off. Just a habit of mine. When we get the blue conveyors, then we'll have that nice wide stretch. Now, one nice thing is we are now at the part of the game where we can repurpose a lot of designs that existed before us. And not before us per se, but we can get into yeah, the solar panel setup here. So what do we have? It's coming in with steel, copper plate, electronic circuits. So we need electronic circuit manufacturing. We've got some here that looked pretty good to me. And there's some here as well. Basically the same thing as far as I can tell. Let's go ahead and do this. Is this right? No, we need the one more. Yeah, do that. And so copper would be needed for one of these. And iron would be needed on half of the other one. So where do we want to put this? Need to give it some space. Say here. Looks good to me. And then, yeah, you do, for buses, you do output priority. Nope, off by one. Oh, why is it off by one? But that'll be a good way to get inputs out. And we're going to actually need to make some inserters here. At least we're not rolling cable. That's kind of, I'm glad for that at least. The other part isn't so bad on, yeah, the distance there. Need to underground belt around here. Always off by one. There we go. And then that will allow us to have this set up, which now that I look at it might benefit from even one more space, because then we can do this, which will force it onto the correct side. Output priority right, and bam. You got your iron, you got your noisy neighbors. I don't know how long it's going to take for me to actually be able to fight those things, but I'm not feeling good about it right now, I'll tell you that. There and there. Pretty good crit. Whoa. Did I mess it up? Here is a minor mistake. There we go. Fixed it. At least as much as I needed to. And yeah, we'll keep on, I would say, getting the inserters, but iron is lacking. And we just pull it off the line. We just grab it from the box. We're just doing what we need to do. Let's see. We are doing okay on pipes. Make a few of those. Make a lot of those. Make a lot of those. Okay. Iron gear wheels would be great, though. If we could just... Yeah. Thank you. Okay. So now we kind of have to start putting blue back in to the production chain. So it's going to be more like this here and this here and the reds here. Okay. Space still going to be very green because of how the rocket ships need to do their thing, but here we can do the classic. Take it off, put it on. Where's the copper? It's all being eaten by this random guy who now no longer needs to exist, I guess. As well, half of it's going here, which I think we have plenty of it boxed up between the two of these. So I'm even going to go ahead and drop off some of this copper cable. And then go through to here. Cool. Oh, they're so slow. Okay, so we are out of power, but the daylight is coming back on. And hopefully this will allow us to do stuff. I have 2 more productivity modules. Is there something specific I want it for? I'm not even sure. I guess it would be for the tungsten, but we've kind of used all our resources already for that. Oh well. Foundry. We can make concrete with the foundry, or is there any other recipe I just really would like to get into? Water. Direct to steel was a very big efficiency increase. We don't have the plastic for this one. I think we have the core essentials, and if we really doubt it, we can always, bump up a few of these other ones. Let's go ahead and do this. That is still a lot of molten iron flowing in. And then, yeah, in theory, we can do like something here. Here. Alrighty. So, yeah, the copper's flowing. Not that we're consuming that much, but if we put it in the box, that'll be better. So we can have just a inserter with a code of only do green circuits. And now you got a green circuit box. We can also turn this into part of the belt. If we just move this down a tiny bit. And then I guess filter it, right? On the left side. Got a bus with iron, copper, green circuits, and steel. And we're starting to kind of feel like we have a lot of the accommodations of home in our backyard. Let's go ahead and discontinue that for now, and we'll see what happens. Alrighty, so next thing we can be making solar panels, copper, steel, electronic circuits. So that could be something where I mean, technically there's plenty of space up here. Maybe I shouldn't be so harsh. Just put it back here. So what I can do is I've had, since my Industrial Revolution playthrough, a few blueprints that I used called escape blueprints that would allow you to pick and choose lanes of the belt to then pull things from. So if we needed these three, then we can start with a combination of 1 and 3 or 3 and 4. Let's do 3 and 4, which would be this one, I believe. We just eyeball it, see if that makes sense to us. Yes, that is combining the bottom two items and allowing everything else to kind of move down the line properly. Lacking the iron, we fix that easily doing this. And iron gear wheels, of course, is a good pickup as well. Okay, so able to then bring in the steel in the normal way. And put it on the opposite side like so. Let's see, it's 1, 2, we need 5 in between. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's just do this for now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you bring it on this line here, like this. Meaning everything else should flow past that nicely. Cool. You can turn it into a big assembly line if you want, or just a very small one. Let's say 2 for now would be pretty good. Something like this makes sense to me as your kind of standard 3 ingredient setup. Has everything it needs. And we can go ahead and provide a few of those items as well. So from there, we then filter if we have the splitter for it, which we don't. And probably want to pull this at the moment, though. It's tempting to leave it. We are just having too many power issues to really ignore it. We need to keep the power up. You see, even at full power, we're taking a long time. We're like under satisfaction even in broad daylight. That's not good. So we'll go ahead and fix that by bringing in some solar panels. Slowly but surely. Not sure what else I can do. More steam engines, I suppose. But yeah. Okay. And then into the box you go, or as I would probably prefer it, over here. And that'll produce the stuff. Bit by bit, we'll bring it online. Probably going to need to build up a solar field again. This is 400% power, so again, I don't know the ratio of accumulator versus all that stuff. But let's say that we're trying to avoid the cliffs. Here's probably the closest we can get, right here. And if we can just then... Actually, am I out? Okay, I'm down to my last 4 substations. They also require advanced circuits, I believe. So another one to be a little careful about, ingredient-wise. Make a few roboports after some of this solar goes out. And then, yeah, like I was saying, start building up a plan of action for these. I think that should be about right. Just one off. That is the name of the episode, apparently. Again, we'll need some of this. I guess I don't want the green uncommon ones. We want the regular ones. Or like this. 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 All this should be out of range of the robos, but if we then also choose to plant one here with a connector here, that hopefully will help support it. Once again, we have a lot of iron, so we can start getting these accumulators online as well. 22 of them here, but the more iron and copper chilling here, the more we're producing. So we want to keep that up. Belts are... I don't know. Can I Yeah, I can relocate this to anywhere there's sulfuric acid. So I probably just want to bring it up to here, and then the iron can kind of do its thing. Also, same thing of bringing this down. Kind of makes sense to me. Yeah, I don't think there's any harm in just not having it all right here. Other than this calcite chest. And it's fine too. Since the iron will need to be delivered directly, let's go ahead and make space for that. And put the calcite back in here. Yeah, I like had ambitions of, oh yeah, if I need a ton of lubricant, I have the line for it. It's like we're not there yet. not by a pretty long shot. So that'll be fine. Oop, gun turrets. Orbiter doing its work, keeping us safe on the outer rim. There's one, there's another. Yeah, sometimes I have a hard time seeing these things actually, but looking good. Oh, and I guess I should check, make sure the production line is good, nothing going on here. Actually, seems to be clearing out the chunks decently. So I guess that's a good thing. This one's still a bit clogged though, so maybe it's not able to distribute what it wants to the same way because it's like the bottom priority. And not the bottom priority, the bottom priority is, this is priority 0 and then it goes to this one, and then this one's, everything over here from the east is higher priority, I believe. But I don't know, not much I can do about that. I guess what I could do is move everything to the right one. I feel like I had a good reason for putting things where they were, but just on the off chance this actually helps, let's go ahead and do this and this. And then, yeah, that will have some of it coming off of this line to the point that we could actually do something like this. Weird, but... Oh, I don't actually have any more. Oh, this is the wrong. That's green. We want... That was blue. We wanted green. We're good. So we'll leave it at that. That means it's coming in randomly from one of these three sources, and that should mean that all of them get their chance to redistribute as needed, which might have been a simpler solution than what I ended up going with, but, you know, we're good. We got power to this RoboPort. There's not a lot of bots in this, so we can go ahead and just... Nope, that drops them on the floor, doesn't it? Get up, you slackers. No, let's go ahead and do this. Take half back, take... That's probably okay, maybe a few more. I'm fine with that. And then, yeah, like I said, I wanted to get iron for, I guess, this setup. Is there a lot in there? Decent bit. Let's go ahead and make sure our inventory is not going to get filled up through the process. But yeah, in theory, you could just make this right here. We just tried to avoid filling up that space. And I'm going to continue to try to avoid it. Oh, here goes the music again. Meanwhile, the worms have been like building up for an assault. And I've been blind to the warning signs. Most likely then I can say here, here. That seems good to me. And then, yeah, we just need to then have copper and iron available in that spot. So what do we need here? More iron, more iron. Yeah, it's kind of hard to get it like back underway after all the steps taken, but it is, yeah, smoother than the original start. It's just, we still have a lot of the good text, the good quality of life. There's just a few things that we need to look out for in order to, you know, get back up to what we're used to, what we're comfortable with. So, yeah, I'm thinking this bad boy goes here. And then these guys continue on as they were. We can always do the split stuff as we need to. This is steel, which I'm currently not worried about. I need to get my iron moving. Where is my iron? It is trying to keep up with the demands of the chips, which means we're not crafting enough iron. And we can fix that. Cool. Steel's good. Where's my underground belts? There they be. Kind of surprising that one iron gear wheel manufacturer takes more than this whole thing does for casting iron, to be honest with you. I mean, I know iron gear wheels can take a lot. It's 2 per half a second. But still. Oh, I could probably just direct load some of this too. I wanted some extra to make sure that my handcrafting was clean, but I'm fine with this. Okay. Oh, well, I guess, yeah, it's at half speed because of this guy, right? So it's not keeping up with this assembly machine because I'm taking it to two different export sources. But yeah, power solar panels are in position in theory, but we need to make sure we have the substations here. And then yeah, I'd probably like to get a few more roboports if I can. No, my advanced circuits. Well, that's the end of that story. Yeah, since we have no more plastic currently and no easy way of getting it, we just have to work with what we have. Let's drop 10 more of these down here. Hopefully, yep, not creating any more issues. And we have one last roboport to work with, which could go... What's the grid look like? Probably not great, but let's see it. There it is. Yeah, I think there's a pretty obvious spot to put that. Okay. Something's being damaged. Fire. Always with the fire. And... yeah, we'll go ahead and extend it to right here. So everything's kind of in line with the electric grid the way that I wanted it to be, which I'm pretty happy about. You know, we had to nudge everything around a little bit, but we're making it work. I did want to then find a way to use these. And like I said, we have ways of blueprinting what would be a 2-3 on our escapes, but it should be a 2-3 down. I think that means if I vertically flip it, it should be... well, 2-3 is mirrored either way, right? Because it's the middle two. Dang it. Give it another one. Vertical. And here. Looks really good, but I actually like it more like here. Bam, 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 bam. And steel again will come along soon. But the important thing is, if I can just create a little one of these. We got copper and iron chilling here for these to be making their stuff. And then one more. These will make something in robo range to construct all in this area. Perfect. So I'm thinking we need accumulators more than we need solar. Oop. But we will see. Yeah, it's like if I just discontinued these, for example, focus entirely on battery power here. Wonder how that would go over. We'll see. Cool, cool, cool. All right, we need to cap these off here. Obviously, we really shouldn't need any more than 3 stacks of this stuff at any point in time. It's always a little dangerous to do big machine work with that. We can resume the whitelisted E-circuit packing right here. And even in theory turn that into a passive provider chest. Out of the grid, no! Slightly out of range. That's gonna be annoying, but I mean, most of the other stuff is more annoying, so we'll stick with it. All right, we have power. We have all this stuff here. We're an hour in. I guess I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the numbers, just what I was looking at and thinking like, oh, what is the plan for Vulcanus? What are we doing here? Obviously, we're getting the metallurgic science packs, which will be fun to get not only crafted, but also off the planet. But then I was like, okay, well, what other things? Like, if I'm trying to create this connection of planets that are all relevant in some way, shape, or form, what are we going to be doing with them? Is one better at certain things than another? And what I'm looking at is that the lava into raw materials is actually really, really effective. This stuff is nutrient rich, okay? This is vitamin goodness. All right, you thought orange juice had a lot of stuff in it. This, you got the ability to, through just like a few dozen foundries, which, you know, that is a lot, but only putting in, it looks like 240 or 200 calcite per minute, getting a full blue belt of iron, copper, and steel. And yeah, just the lava has a lot to offer in that context. And you know, you can kind of compare it to a setup here. If we were just on Novus and we didn't have lava, what could we really be doing to make this stuff? Of course, we have the smelters. Looks like we're using the other version as our default, which I think these have the same crafting speed, so it's actually the same effectively, but one does require fuel. So anyways, we'll have, you know, this setup here, this setup here. You're looking at an enormous amount of crafters to create the same exact thing. This is just 45, 45, 45 per second, which of course is a lot, but without any beacons and, you know, other multipliers, this is an absurd amount of machine work required. I mean, we're talking 800 compared to, you know, 5, 6 dozen. Like, there's a huge difference in what's required. And of course, you know, all the drilling, all the mining rigs required for this is going to be quite substantial. Like 450 going nonstop. The power amounts are astronomical, and the actual buildings as well. Like, it's pretty crazy. So yeah, I'm liking the idea of Vulcanus being a supplier of raw copper, iron, and steel to the other planets. The only drawback would be if the rocket ships themselves cost too much for that to be worthwhile. If it takes too much to like load the rocket up. But yeah, comparing the two, it's almost a no-brainer. Like, there's a huge difference. One thing that you can't really do is get higher quality iron from Vulcanus conveniently, because it's going to be turning it into the soup, the molten iron. And when you're turning liquid into a solid, you can't do the higher quality recipes. So if you need quality, that's going to be coming from, you know, novice or whatever. But if you need just some good raw material, I do think that lava is the way to go, at least from what I'm seeing so far. On the other hand, in much the contrast, the liquids are not doing so hot because it takes so much to get water. I was looking at, you know, a normal novice setup for water. For oil, you've got, you know, you pump it, you got like 8 refineries, a handful of chemical plants, you crack it down from heavy to light, from light to petrol. And if you're just trying to craft like a yellow belt worth of plastic, 15 items per second, this is all you need. Whereas over here, it adds up more. Oh, the numbers are actually helpful here as well, contextually. So we have here 166 megawatts versus 201, so definitely an increase here. Surprisingly, not as much as you'd think, because foundries are just so expensive in terms of energy, but, you know, they also have quadrupled the solar power, so that's kind of nice. Anyways, comparing this 22 megawatts or 23 megawatts perhaps versus 6.8, like, it's just so much more efficient to be going through this process instead of all these refineries, 30 refineries to do the coal liquefaction, and then yeah, condense the steam or make the water through acid neutralization. There's just so many extra steps. It's a lot. It says simple coal. I know that in some mods there's been other ways to go about it. Is there another? Let me just check text real quick. Coal liquefaction. Okay, so this is simple coal liquefaction, and then once we bring in metallurgic to the main area, you can actually do coal liquefaction that looks to be a lot more efficient, at least on the coal side. A little heavy oil to get it started, but you get more out than you put in, so that can be an easy pipe loop. And then, yeah, steam is the main thing there. So you put in steam, don't even have to bring it down to water. And then, yeah, I could see that being better. So I guess we can, if I do this, I think I can check that side of things as well. Okay, so show unresearched recipes, coal liquefaction. Not, yeah, of course. And steam is produced here. Is that enough? Looks okay to me. And yeah, we'll have the coal side of it kind of cleaned up a bit. So now we're suddenly down to 13.2. Not as bad, but still clearly not the specialist in terms of the plastic and the oil and the etc. So that's just kind of my overall thoughts, like my general thoughts on if these planets were right next to each other, there was no real cost to sending things back and forth, which one would specialize in what kind of production. Whether that actually pans out that way or it's just kind of theory crafting, we'll see. Why? There we go. He's good. He's pretty good. He's not so good. And him as well. Alrighty. So, we do need to probably set up a real line of production there. Going to continue to need these fast transport belts. Since we're building up on the iron, we're actually going to be able to bring this back online, which should help just gear things up. In theory, we might as well just do this. Same thing, I guess. At the end of the day. These are not being built because they're not being requested. Because our power production isn't anywhere near full. And I guess that's okay. But the batteries, we want more batteries. We're going to keep that flowing. 24/7. It's going great. Alrighty, so what is next? We've done a lot here. We have expanded our power grid. We brought a lot on lines. I just need some inserters, some assembly machines, that kind of stuff would be very high quality of life. So I almost want to just copy a few things that I already had on Novus. Let's say that we want... Let's go ahead and hit this so we can actually know where we are. Hell, I love that. That's such a good improvement, adding these recipe icons to the map. It means so much more to like just be looking around. It's like, I'm lost, and then you click that and it's like has all the key roadmap pieces lit up. All right. Is this the best we can do? I'm not so sure. I feel like there is perhaps a better way. But at least for now, it doesn't take time to kind of rewrite the wheel. Reinvent. Yeah, there we go. And it seemed like it was only taking the green chips and iron, and then iron gear wheel, which we can also produce pretty easily. And then this was also here making these pieces, with the only limiting factor being steel. So I think even including that, honestly not that bad. At first I was like, this looks like a mess, but frankly, I don't hate it. I don't hate my old design. And like I said, it saves us so much time to not have to just like piece it back through. At the end of the day, we're just trying to create a few ingredients. And I think what we can do instead of clogging everything up is try to build it over here. Now there is a substation in the build, which could be a nice way of centering it. Do we want to go as far as this? No, we already have some escapes on the menu, and I'm happy just to work with things as they are. I guess that was to export. Maybe. We'll see. Tell you what, we do need these to be red. And we need a few of our inserters. We need a few assembling machines as well. That's kind of the whole point. That's why we're here. But yeah, we can go ahead and get rid of a lot of this stuff. Oops. In terms of the power grid, because it's all electric already. But these, oh, these were tier 1s, I guess? Which is fine. And yeah, upgrading it to the 21st century is a few extra steps, but we get there. And now what do we need? This line is going to be steel for sure. This line is going to be, looks like electronic circuits and iron gear wheels. Oh no, we pull off here. Okay. We can just look back at it. Just real quick. One more glance at the cheat sheet here. Yeah, we just had iron gear wheels going all the way around. And all we needed was a direct source of iron and green. Okay. So should I flip-flop this? No, because they still do here. Okay. So the big thing is the iron gear wheels. Plenty of that. And I don't have any more manufacturers, so I have to make a few of those by hand. Go ahead and grab some of the green. Okay, so the 3 ingredients. Let's focus on the 2 and the 4. Which, yeah, I believe 2, 4 below should be this one. Go ahead and, again, do a quick sanity check on that. Yeah, everything seems to be the way I'd want it to go. And then a few more of those. Basically as many as we can for those. Now I'm missing my gear wheel, iron gear wheel maker, but that's what we're about to do. Drop anyway, so it's fine. What we do is we set this up here. And then we have the iron gear wheel makers right here. That. And then I don't know how many I had, but it does seem to take quite a bit. So we'll go ahead and just pop, 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 pop. And one more underground belt will do it. Oh, here we go. These guys can help. Do the hard work for me. Alrighty. Then we'll look at a little bit of this, a little bit of this. It's all capped off already as well, which is nice. And then this guy needs steel, and we should be good from there. Iron, again, not as much iron as we'd like, so we can improve on that again with the foundry. But for now, bringing in the steel, which we will want to be sending in a bit as well with another splitter. But it's got a pretty specific destination, right? It's just here. So we actually want to do this. 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 With that. Or, you know, here, why not? But then this one will go here. And with one last underground belt, we'll have it made. Ooh, 59. It's gonna be tough. Keep up a good pace with this, but there we are. And that shouldn't be necessary. Technically, a lot of this isn't necessary at this current point in time. But we're here, we're doing it. Copper is needed. So we have a lot of copper getting eaten up for the greens, which, like I said, man, we definitely don't need that much. But we have it. And I'll pull it. Nope, nope, nope. Pull from the wrong spot. Pull it from here. Pull it from the red zone. And that will bring a lot of iron back where it needs to be. Because before it was being fully prioritized that direction. Cool. Happy with all that so far. And I think we are good to move on to our next thing. Everything's getting built naturally quite well. I guess technically right now we have higher prioritization on about the same. Maybe if we don't need that many solar panels, we'll just cut it off for now. Alrighty. Do we have 0 more foundries or 1 last foundry? Nothing else, so we just rely on what we have to help us out and make our stuff. Okay. Inserter manufacturer was the last thing that I wanted to make, and then I think we're up to speed. So the inserters require iron plate, iron gear wheel, and electronic circuit, which basically is the same as this, except for the steel, and it does need iron plate. What is this red arm pulling, actually? I'm curious. What's the setup over on Novice? Actually saved my map image to the same location I was before. I guess since I don't have a physical entity on the planet, that no reason to kind of go back to where I am. It's more like, yeah, last point of interest. That's kind of cool. Yeah, to answer my question, the red was pulling from, oh, yeah, that's important. So this is the same as an inserter. Okay. So when I solve the inserter problem, I will be solving the assembly machine problem. Which means, I think... Yeah. Spaghetti never ends because you're always making a mall when you're going to different planets. So... we do one of these. We do one of these. Nope. That's a regular inserter. Cool. If I could just... yeah, I'll just do it this way. Okay. And that'll, of course, go in a box. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. So this guy does not have access to iron gear wheels. Which means we really kind of need to instead make this an underground. And Yeah, there's two ways. I can either do a weird little reroute, or I could try to bring this belt over here, and it's just kind of... it's not the worst, I guess. Cool. All right, we're making things. Just need a good steady flow of iron, and all that stuff will come together. Right now, we've made actually nothing from this. I believe there's a problem here. What did I do? Trying to interpret my own history is kind of weird. Because... oh, there was electronic circuits on that belt as well, right? That's the difference. Okay. Because, like, this doesn't make any sense. How is it getting a core piece? Because I'd also attached it here. Which is doable. Because you can always do this, right? We just need to then clear the wheelie bit. And this doesn't need green. So it should be fine either way. Yeah, it just looks ugly though. There we go. Alrighty. More iron. That's all we need. So, are we at a point where we don't actually want that much copper, or... not sure. We have plenty of that, to the point that I actually don't even think we need this necessarily. If we start running low on blue, that would be a different story. At least right now. I want to set it up like that. Or we say, get all this stuff out of here. And keep the iron going. That chest is going to fill me up, isn't it? Oh well. Had to be done. And then steel had a setup over here. Let's say maybe we're making it for multiple, then we can set it up that way. Something like that. I think it's all good now. At the end of the day, the question is, do we have enough molten iron? It looks like we are starting to drain it slowly. But yeah, at the end of the day, I'm happy running 4 of these right now. All right, we got a little factory going on, don't we? We could be spreading concrete to the floor, but like I said, iron ore is limiting. So I would need to then tap into that molten, again, the molten iron into concrete recipe. And I'm just not ready for that. Important thing is we get this up and running, and yep. I'm going to say that that is the best we can do for now. I'm also going to notice that we are out of calcite once again. Now, we do have the last of our reserves here, but we probably should make one more run before we commit to anything else. So I'm going to go ahead and drop off a box of stuff that just to make it a bit easier to go through. I do have just enough for... nah. Just a little bit more to make another one of these. And then I know I'm supposed to like make the mining drill. There's a new mining drill in town. Only takes 20 though, and it requires electric engine units. Okay, that's going to be a little bit of a doozy, but we can do it. So let's go ahead and drop some material on, you know, the materials that I just put in a chest. I need to grab again real quick, but yeah, let's go ahead and grab that. And we'll see. We can, in fact, make this happen if we have the concrete. Which we don't, and we never will, because iron ore doesn't exist. So we either break some rocks, or repurpose an entire foundry for a little bit of concrete. Let's break some rocks. Last check on this molten iron. It is slowly draining. We're going to go ahead and double that up again. At least we have a plan of action for what that will do for us. And yeah, we have enough iron to make it work. We're building up a good amount of conveyor belts, and that's going to be helpful here. If we want to avoid using trains at this stage, which seems rather complicated considering lava, yeah, we're going to have to work around our limitations. So this makes 10. This consumes 20. So 2 rounds of that, we'll get 10. And then we'll be on our way. So we were going to make engine units, electric engine units specifically, which comes from lubricant. How do we want to go about that? Well, electric engine units will require electronic circuits, engine units, which is steel plates, iron, and iron. So four iron, 1 steel, and circuits. Not too bad. Yeah, let's just do this again. Keep it moving. Always with these little... Okay, are these guys actually building anything yet? They don't know how. Because these guys need it. These guys need transport belts. Nobody's building transport belts. Because it's supposed to be pulled off of here. Which it certainly is not. Never reuse old gibberish that you made on your second day of a factory that you're trying to just get up to speed on. That's the lesson I have learned. Because it's just like every little bit of this has been worse than just building it from scratch almost. At first I was like, man, this feels so cool. It's just like bam, 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 it works. But the it works part kind of, we missed that. So what we can do instead... Why is... Oh, they have the red belt. Okay. So really, we just do this, right? We just... There we go. And bam. And bam. And then we need to make transport belts here, and everything will work. The last sidebar. We know transport belts is iron and iron gear wheels. The iron's over there. What if we undo all that? There's no way of making this pretty, is there? I guess there's this. None of these pulling off the line, so I can just cut this out for a second. Thank you. Now we can transport belt. was like, nobody's using this. There's no horizontal inserters. Oh, but I needed it right here, so. Bam, bam. Brings it out. Feeds it to these. These guys happy. These guys turn it into reds. We're all good. It's a bit of a mess, I'll admit. Not exactly the direction I wanted to go with all that design, but we're fine now. We got there. Okie dokie. And it's making our fast underground belts and splitters, which were tedious to say the least. And now we can continue our venture this way. Well, that's not necessary. Now, as we were saying, it's 4 iron, 1 steel, 2 electronic circuits to make, as long as you have the lubricant, your stuff. So we then want to pull all of that, starting with, well, this will be easy to pull. So let's just do our 1-2, our 3-4 escape, vertically flipped, which is this one. And then if I can get one more splitter, apparently a lot more iron. We can then split here, right? Did I mess this up? Why is there an underground here? So this will be steel. This will be iron. I think this is a mistake, yeah. Let's go ahead and fix that right here. And then we can split around stuff here. Cool. All right, so there will be steel on this now, which is what we wanted. We need to make pipes and wheels for the engine units. Yeah, buddy. We'll talk to you in a bit. Pipes, wheels, steel. To conquer lands unknown. So I don't actually need the iron for anything else, right? And one more here. Wheels. Pipes. Engine units. Oh no. Yeah, minor mishap there. Happens to the best of us. What you can do, let's just do something like this. With that. There you go. And with a little cleanup, we're good. Which will then consume steel here. If we twist that, we can then have an output here, which will put it into, with electronic circuits, into a maker. Okay. Looking good. Just gotta lube it up, and we have progress. Thinking red belt might be... Slightly better design to do it this way. Pull it in. No blue here. Make our electric engine and lube it up. We'll then need this here. And we'll be all set. Steel was one thing we were needing. Go ahead and bring that across. And now we're not getting steel. Why is that? Goes through here. Fine here. Okay, this is ugly. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, just one extra underground transport belt that we did not need. And suddenly, it all filters in nicely, and the bus continues. We build, we make it work. We're probably gonna have to zigzag the little micro bus here if we want to continue to utilize it in this fashion. But at least for right now, we got our key pieces online, especially these engine units that we need for big drill. It's gonna take 10 electric engine units, its own foundry to make it, and some of the last of our tungsten carbide. Let's go ahead and throw this one in here. And back to the orbiter to do the shoot 'em up thing. Yes, I probably should at some point just conveyor belt the turrets, but I was more focused on placement of the turrets themselves than I was on the logistics of reloading them automatically. I don't imagine you can do requester chests up here. I mean, you couldn't even do regular chests up here. Gravity has other plans. There's the last one. Alrighty. Yeah, I'm almost like trying to look at it just like cleaning it up like this, just because I like not because it changes the function in any way, but I just like the look of it better. If we can do this instead. And then split this here with one splitter. Which we can probably grab a few more of these. Boom, boom. Not as many as I'd like, but some. Just keep the iron gear wheels coming. I did cancel out a lot of iron gear wheel manufacturers to make the transports there, so maybe we just do this. Technically, you can even do one of these. No. One off. Once again. But yeah, I was going to go ahead and split this here, because then we can get the steel in. And then we could just cart it over like this. Bam, bam, bam. It's all good. It all works. It's all online. And what do you get out of it? You get a box with some stuff in it. At the end of the day, that's all anybody needs. Alrighty. This is going to be the conclusion of the recording, I think, as we are just moments away from picking up our electric engine units to make our big mining drill. And then we have to think, what are we going to do with that? Well, it is going to unlock a technology for us. Tungsten steel requires a big mining drill. And then we can combine tungsten ore into molten iron to get the last piece before we are ready to get some science. Of course, that does mean we're probably going to need to create some renewable extraction, one of these patches of tungsten, which means we gotta find a way to sneak around these worms or face them, which I don't know. I've looked at the numbers. I've looked at how immune they are to many things, and yeah, I've got a couple ideas churning around my head, but generally speaking, I do not feel great about tackling them, especially if I could just avoid them for right now. We will see. We will see. One more electric engine unit, and that'll wrap things up. Appreciate you guys tuning in to the factory today, tonight, wherever you are, whether you are playing alongside or doing just sitting back and watching the work, watching the factory grow. Either way, it's been a great experience to continue to just enjoy this amazing game and see the new content that it has to offer. If you want to continue to see some of this content, then feel free to like, comment, or subscribe. That all will, well, I think it's just the subscribe and the like that will probably help your algorithm out. But always great to read some comments. I will reply to just about anything that shows up there, because yeah, it's just nice to hear from people, hear feedback. I had a nice little chat with somebody else. They had some cool insight into what some of the future may hold, and we'll have to see how that shakes up. But for now, yeah, we're gonna wrap things up here. I'm gonna go ahead and drop a big foundry. I'm gonna put down all the materials required to make this thing, and we can call it a night. Let's go ahead. Iron's flowing nicely. Let's go ahead and grab a copper one right here. And with that foundry available, it looks like it needs molten iron. We'll go ahead and, well, just bring it down the line. Give some space so we can have some steel here. Do like this, I think. That fits. Not that we're going to be mass producing these things in any way, shape, or form, but oh, just barely have enough for the advanced. Otherwise, we'd have to go into a whole petroleum setup that I don't want to get into right now. So I'm glad that we did save a little bit of our advanced circuits. But yeah, we do need this here. Extend the power down. And drop everything in. Boom, boom. It's basically an upgrade of the electric mining drills. Need to just add one of those in. And there we are. Boom. Big mining drill. Let's see how big this thing is. How big? Oh, so it covers a lot of ground. This thing is very much bigger. About, what, if those are 3 and it's 5, those are 3 by 3, it's 5 by 5. So 15 over 9 in terms of the expansion, but you see the difference in terms of radius. These guys get the extra 1 distance. This thing can mine all the way into Narnia. It's actually pretty sick. So, you know, we're gonna... It says can mine harder ores. Is that... Does tungsten count as a harder ore? Oh yeah, it says it's mined by only big mining drill. So that's important. And mining time is increased to 500%. So that means at 1/5 the rate, presumably. But yeah, no, it should be a nice opportunity to try that out and mine that up and see if immediately our hopes and dreams are crushed by a worm that just runs over and just eats us up. I'm certainly hoping that is not the case, but the future will remain to be seen. Once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I hope you have a chance to check out what happens in the next episode. Until then, have a good night.